So, it's just another day in New York City. Spider-Man swinging around, taking down supervillains, and saving people, as is his hobby. Typical New York shenanigans. But what if he gets thrown across the galaxy and his main mission now is to save the whole planet from not one, two, but three supervillains and their minions? Will Spidey save the day? Today, we're gonna find that out in Spider-Man Unlimited. But before we start the series, let's have a look at the main characters of the show. Starting with our friendly neighborhood superhero, Spider-Man. After being blamed for Jameson's supposed death, Peter takes on the mission to find him at any cost. Next up, we've got John Jameson, who is J. Jonah Jameson's son, an astronaut and soon-to-be rebel leader. Then next up, we've got the Blob duo, Venom and Carnage, who are on world domination mode, but this time with the help of the Synoptic, which is a green slime creature with the ability to control any living creature that it touches. And finally, we've got High Evolutionary, who created this whole society of creatures called the Bestials of Counter-Earth. A strange sort of parallel Earth because apparently regular Earth wasn't entertaining enough. He, along with his loyal knights, rule Counter-Earth with an iron fist, making it completely dominated by the Bestials. So, with now the intros done, let's get started with episode 1 of the series, Worlds Apart. The episode starts off with John Jameson giving a fiery speech as he heads off to embark on a space mission to Counter-Earth. We're then introduced to Peter Parker, who's busy snapping pictures with J. Jonah Jameson, who's proud of his son for taking the mission. Right then, Peter's spidey senses start tingling as he finds two suspicious-looking guys who quickly turn into Venom and Carnage. He starts chasing them, but the Blob brothers trash him. As the ship loses control, Spidey glides back to the ground. Seeing this, Jonah immediately accuses him of sabotaging the mission.
Spider-Man! He did this! He sabotaged the ship!
And guess what? Our hero is now treated as a wanted criminal. His effigy is egged. He gets pepper sprayed for saving a cat and finally blasted with a water hose for saving a mother and child from a burning building. As Spidey resists the attack, rubble starts falling from the building. He quickly pounces to save a firefighter, and once the dust settles, the firefighter announces that Spidey is no more. But hold on to your hats, because our boy is still alive and is warmly welcomed by his girlfriend MJ. As Peter stares down at NYC, he finds himself unsure about the future of Spider-Man. I mean, how can he be the friendly neighborhood superhero if the neighborhood hates him? Right then, John Jameson is broadcasted asking for help, which motivates Peter to give it one more try. 6 months later, we see Peter getting an upgraded spider suit from Reed Richards. And this new suit is simply the coolest. With all the nanobots and stuff, it's awesome. As Spidey is testing everything out, he comes face to face with Fury, who doesn't want to let him go to space. But Spider-Man spook talks him and proceeds with his mission to save Jameson and restore his reputation. As Spidey reaches the outer atmosphere of Counter-Earth, he's intercepted by a mysterious force, pulling him towards it. After being saved from a dramatic crash landing by some Transformer bots, he finally reaches the surface. But those bots that saved him are not exactly friendly, and they order his surrender. He makes a run for his life and is introduced to the Knights of Wundagore. But Spidey is having none of it, as he escapes using his webs and tries out his new stealth skill. But his escape doesn't last long as he gets knocked out by the Knights and is taken away. As he opens his eyes, he finds himself surrounded by the Knights along with Sir Ram, who's ready to rip him apart, of course for some DNA samples. The very next episode, Worlds Apart Part 2, picks up right where we left off. We're introduced to the High Evolutionary, who narrates his story of being an outsider who came to this world and created the creatures called Bestials. Sir Ram just can't keep his hands to himself, and he wants to cut Spidey open. Before he can, though, Spider-Man breaks the shackles and escapes from the lab. On his way, he gets help from Karen O'Malley, a member of the human resistance group on Counter-Earth. They escape from the Knights and venture inside a manhole to meet up with none other than, wait for it, John Jameson. John's been busy during his time on Counter-Earth. Most notably, he's decided to spearhead the rebellion against the High Evolutionary. But little do they know, Lady Vermin is right behind them as she informs Lord Tiger of Spider-Man's whereabouts. The High Evolutionary decides to send special forces to deal with Spider-Man. Meanwhile, Venom and Carnage are cooking up a crazy plan to betray the High Evolutionary and take over the entire planet. Back in the hideout, the human resistance group is attacked by Lady Vermin along with Venom and Carnage. As the group struggles, Spider-Man uses sonic waves, which puts the two blobs in complete disarray. Later, Spider-Man has a talk with Jameson, asking him to return back to Earth. However, he refuses to leave until he finds justice for the humans. Jameson manages to convince Spider-Man to stay in Counter-Earth for a while, and Karen gives him a pair of clothes to spend some quality time with the locals. The scene then shifts to a group of kids playing baseball, but things take a dark turn when a bot goes rogue. And just when a boy was about to get smashed, Peter swoops in to save him. He injures his hand very badly, and the boy's mother, Dr. Naoko, offers to treat his wound. She introduces herself and her son Shane and offers Peter a room to stay. The episode ends with Peter vowing to get back to Earth as he remembers his sweetheart, MJ.
Someday, somehow, I'll get back to you, MJ. That's a promise.